All right, we're recording. We're live.
Cool.
All right, here. Let me make this full
What's
screen.
up, gamers? It's your boy.
The world of YouTube, of a couple people that'll watch this, will be thoroughly ecstatic to see this. All right, so you're playing with Ellie. So first point is this character is terrible and everyone hates it. One sec. I can't. Hold on. Yeah, I'll put the volume a little low. All right. All right. Where do you go? Okay, you go here. Hold on. Turn this down a little bit. All right, so I don't know. Ellie is a weird character for obvious reasons, and so I don't know for general tips. I think the biggest thing is like edge guarding can be really weird for some people, even for me. Depending on the Ellie, because there's a lot they can do, and there's a lot of really like annoying potential for reversals. So
Yeah.
that's annoying, but otherwise, I'm curious to see what you do in general. So let's see how it goes. All right, yeah, it got beat up. That was a quick edge guard, but that's a good recovery. This missile stuff can be tough too as well to deal with.
Yeah.
But all right, here I want to see this. You kind of yes, you kind I'm trying to think. You kind of like threw the combo away sort of quick, I guess.
Yeah. A bear probably would have been
Right,
better or
exactly. Like
something.
something that would have sent more closer here. And like the fair can work, but you also didn't really like you like fared immediately after, right? So it was like
Yeah. I think I was expecting weak fair and I wanted to like do weak
right,
fair and
like
then up air. But
right.
I
You'd like fared and then just fared again. So you didn't really like fare into like fast like follow them or something. So it
yeah.
was just kind of like a reset to neutral real quick, and then you lose it. Let's see how you lose neutral here. Okay, they just neared over you. That's fine. Ooh, that's tough. Yeah, this
Yeah.
probably. Yeah, I think you tried to up air and you got caught by it. That should have probably
Yeah.
like
I
again
was
up
hoping the
air.
up air would come out before the steam hit me,
Yeah,
but
right. Okay, here. So one thing. This is a good fair. Um, and then right here you got kind of caught with your pants. Like these are the worst things is that up tilt. And
yeah.
so that
Yeah,
was a
I just
big
wasn't
thing.
respecting Ellie's ability to like
Exactly. Like you kind of
stall
like
her
went
movement.
forward and she kind of just scooped under you and then just
Yeah.
like shoop and then just kind of hit you there. So the honest, I feel like against Ellie, Fireball is one of the most valuable things to cut off like a horizontal line, so that you
Yeah.
can then decide like, okay, they can't, they'll get hit here or something. You want to play a lot, like there's a fair amount of conservative play that you need to do, as like, and so you don't get caught like in these situations where they get you with the up tilt chains and then kill you. Good DI, good recovery too. I like that. So one thing, you're doing this a fair amount. This is probably something to like. It's a minor habit, but it's probably something to keep in mind. Is you're doing a lot of shine jabs. You've missed every single one in this set so far. I mean, you've done like three of them, I
Yeah.
think, and every single one is missed. I would like that would be a very minor but important thing to think about. Is like it's much more safer a lot of times to go for just like a tilt. Um,
Okay.
like usually F tilt because it'll almost always grab them on most DIs. Up tilt is kind of your more I expect them to be a little, like to be closer and not be DIing away, and I want a
Yeah.
combo. F tilt is your I want to reverse the situation and get favorable, which you still
Yeah.
are here because you sent them off stage, but you also could have sent them like further, and they also messed up
Yeah.
their input there, and so they could have
Yeah.
reversed it. So yeah, that would be like shine jabs. I honestly think like they're mostly good at very low percents when you expect like pretty hard DI in. Most of the and the biggest and the one thing the important thing to keep in mind is that with jabs you don't want to give them an opportunity to reactively DI away. So like if you like
Yeah, that makes sense.
obviously the F tilt does that, but at low percents if you want to catch them with like DI in or something, the jab automatically tells them that they're locked into like a jab combo, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
similar with Arcane Jab where they jab 1-2 and they hit, but usually it's still that there's usually a DI mix-up on the last hit, and it's usually a 50-50. Like you're trying to just guess. There's no like reaction. They're not trying to
Hmm.
catch you off guard with that, where that Orcanes do it. Same way when you jab one, you're giving them opportunity to like reactively change. So you'd want to keep. So that's like a good thing to keep in mind. Like if you expect them to DI in, or you're not really concerned whether they DI in or out. Like say, like I would think like at low percent sometimes you can go for like a shine and jab and then like down tilt, and like DI out they go like low here, DI in they go high and you can get them, and that can sometimes work. But yeah, that's something that I would think like to keep in mind. So it seems like it's kind of a habit where it's like it's useful, but it's better to go for the tilts a lot of the time.
That makes sense.
And then I'm trying to see what you did on the recovery. I like the shine. Um, yeah, you dropped just a tad too much, so you
Yeah.
ended up just it was kind of you instead of like you wouldn't be wanting so like with this situation you wouldn't want to be covering them as they're going down. You'd want to cover them as they're rising to make sure they can't rise. So like what you covered here was them like basically like staying low and then like coming up like around here, right? With the shine. So you went a little lower than you would have wanted, and so the coverage was basically more you thought they might like get near this edge or something, you cover them, but really all you wanted to do is make sure they couldn't come back like here. So you would have wanted to like shine right here or something and then double jump like dare fair here. And you just covered like too low basically.
Yep.
And so then so you'd want to think about like stuff like that, like what do you need to cover to guarantee the kill right there. And so like the shine covers one timing, the dare covers the next, but what does that need to cover in that specific situation versus another? Oh, this is actually I thought you were gonna get this too.
Yeah.
Too slow actually. You waited
Yeah.
a slight bit. Yeah, this might be a situation again where
I was
like
expecting DI out, so I was expecting them to DI out and then hover up. So I was gonna delay it to like catch the hover up after DIing out, but they just DI'd in.
yeah, this would be a situation where you would be trying to read more or react more. That would be something that like your delay was very slight, and so it wasn't like if they DI like this was kind of a DI. I'm trying to see. This was like sort of a like this was like a DI in like DI like drift out a bit. So they kind of DI'd all right, but they were still gonna get hit no matter what. So in this
Yeah.
situation, it would have been better for you to go for the fair for to cover DI in and then reactively step back and then go for like try to cover like whatever they do after they DI out
Mm.
potentially. So like I've talked about this with people like Ben and Tennis, like knowing like basically recognizing what option you cover and then recognizing like if they do it's like kind of like a it's like a good situation or like a great good, you know, instead of a
Yeah.
great bad, I guess. So like if they DI in, they get hit with a fair, they probably die. If they DI out, they escape, but then now they're still DIing out and going further away. But what you've just done, which is kind of making a read on DI out, you've now made it if they DI in, they get past you, and if they DI out and try to come in, they die. So you have like two situations, but there's a greater risk reward. You have a more high your risk reward is further apart versus if you did this, no matter what, you're in a good situation. But one of them is like,
Right.
I'm going to make sure that I'm going to cover the easy option and I'm going to deal with you after. And that way, like, you won't make it, then it's still a good situation. Now, of course, if you get the read and you get the kill, that is the correct option. But this is like the safer thing. And this is an important thing to think about is this is often what you want to be doing is cover like like a safer option if you're not sure about a read and then go for like the harder option after. Because like judging by this, like at high percents on this percent, like most people will DI in. Very like
Yeah.
it's not a
Yeah.
very like, and this is actually something that is this from RAS as well? I want to just double check.
No, this is just like a friendly best of five. I haven't entered RAS in months.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I'm assuming you guys are kind of like similar in level then.
Invy's won RAS a while ago.
Okay, probably similar level. Yeah, like with this, you'd want to recognize like habits or like themes that you would expect. You know, most players at this percent, like you know, even like mid level to like higher level, will like DI in just out of
Yeah.
fear and just to survive, and so that's always like a smarter thing to expect here. You know, and you went for like the more harder big brain read, but then it was just a little too much. So then now it's almost a reversal. potentially. You know, this would be a situation. This is a typical situation that you would get reversaled, and you kind of did. Like this is
Yeah.
and this is what I hate about Ellie is like getting back on stage with dare or something and up tilting you out of nowhere, like that, like constantly, just getting the up tilt, sucking you in, and then
Yep.
boom, they kill you with the. I'm pretty sure that's literally impossible to DI, but yeah. I'm trying to see what else. I like. That was a good shine and a good up air. Like all of this is very good. It was just a mess up right here on this up air, like very close
Yeah.
though. Like you just missed getting like a sour spot, which probably would have led to a sweet spot. It's a very minor
Yeah.
positional thing, but you died for it, and that's the unfortunate thing sometimes. But yeah, good up air, good parry, nice. Yeah. This is a good. I like the read. Here, I'm trying to. Try to think. So you lost. You just went for an F tilt. That was a pretty good F tilt. It did cover some space like right here, which they would have tried to come at you. It's kind of like
Yeah.
they just placed their dare a little better than them, so that's fine. Really good flip. That's a really smart mix-up. So these up airs will probably have to be like you're gonna have to work on kind of placing your up airs better and drifting
Yeah.
better into them because you are like pixels away from multiple of these dares where you're like very close, but you're literally like
Yeah. I'm just
off.
missing the.
If you had if you had like drifted or jumped and went further this way, I don't know if you were trying to place a sour spot to get that into a sweet spot, or you just thought they were gonna be here more. Either way, you were very close regardless, but it was just still like a slightly off like reaction essentially.
Yeah.
And this was fine. I would have fireball here. I think this jab, down tilt is fine just to try to cover the platform. So some of these shines I don't like, in that you're using shine as an anti-aerial. Like, or you're kind of placing shine like sort of when they're like above you more. I've seen you do it a couple of times. It's worked once or twice. I've
Yeah.
never loved using shine in kind of that situation. I think you use like grounded shine a bit more in neutral and more of like a covering yourself, but I often find that doesn't work as well as using aerial shine like that. So like
That makes sense.
oftentimes I find it better to like go for like an aerial and use shine to cover myself in the air because you can like double jump and like kind of get away, like place yourself in a
Right.
different position on the
You
platform.
can be more tricky with it. More.
Right, with a shine on the ground, there's only two spots you can. I mean, you can aerial out of it, but if you're just trying to shine, wave that shine, I've always
Yeah.
theoretically thought that was a good idea, but I struggled to see it work in practice. And so I've seen you do it a couple of times, and that might be something to think about is like how you're using shine in neutral more. That's
Yeah.
something you want to think about a bit more because it's very easy to just like throw it around, but then kind of like forget situations to use it more. Good Gatling. I like that. Don't like the dare, but that's fine. So yeah, you're playing a lot on the platforms here, and he's kind of caught you a bunch of times, just kind of like with like an aerial covering like right here,
Yeah.
and so probably you're preemptively going for these up airs. I think, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
I'm
kind of trying
expecting
to
him to.
right. You're trying to
Yeah.
intercept him instead of reactively like whiff punishing.
Right,
Probably
which
very
is a
like
bad idea because he's the one with the disjoints.
right. I mean, he can like you can beat him too, and if your timing's right, it works. But you've lost more because like he's placed his hits kind of closer
Yeah.
where you're like he's placing a hit in front of you, and you're running into the hit more.
Yeah.
He's kind of placing it like just here, and you're like going from here and running and trying to hit like shark him after. So like probably like in general thinking about like in neutral like being a little more patient and just watching to see like what they do and then reacting instead of going for something like that. And then minor tip, make sure you're not shining for the sake of shining. Happens a lot. This shine did absolutely nothing for you. You could have
Yeah.
uploaded or something. So like keeping that in mind as well as like noticing your position when you're teching, so that your
Yeah.
shine actually has purpose. Otherwise, it's just wasted frames instead of a move that could have been used like earlier. I hate the shine only because you switch the combo now that it's you almost like you basically let him get out for free basically
Yeah,
because
yeah, that was a bad decision.
right like that this one has
Should have just like nared or something after the.
honestly you were in a great position like you kind of placed him in a situation where you could have tried to gimp him off the side with like a
Yeah,
so you got a bear here. You could have just up aired in place, and he probably would have DI'd in. And what you could have done is either gone for an up air chain off the top if they had DI'd in, or a fair chain off the side. You could have like nared and just pulled him forward, tried to fair. I mean, this it would be a horrible like this would be a terrible situation for Ellie to be on this edge in this platform. You would have
yeah,
set
for
up in a
sure.
great position and edge guard. So this shine was like cool, but it didn't do much. And then you have like the shine jab, and then they got out, and then you had to like dash attack like to make up. And up tilt might have been
Yeah,
better here, you know. Even if you had
yeah, I should
shine and
have
then
just
F
kept
tilted him
trying to
that
push him
way,
off stage.
right? You kind of and then you just sort of reverse the combo. So those can like reversing the combo can be useful if that was your goal, and you had went to like reverse it and then chase them. But you didn't have the aggression you needed if you were going to do that. You waited right here. You didn't like dash attack and then fly expecting DI out, right? You waited
Yeah,
and watched him, and those like 30, you know, I don't know, 30 frames or something, however long you spent waiting, was enough for him to get away, and now it's no longer an aggressive chase across the stage, but it's a reset to neutral. Like, you tried to chase him with a Tekken and he got away. Like, this was a free tech roll away, and he got away. So, that would be something to think, like, that is something that's like, you can do reversals. They're not bad, but you need to be, like, on the prowl if you're going to go for them, because you can cover DIs out, like, even towards the center if you, like, plat boost and follow them, you know? So like they're still good to think about, but right here it was just not a good idea to do that just for obvious reasons.
yeah.
It's a fine fireball. I'm trying to think if you were might have been better if you would just fast follow that, but otherwise that was a fine combo. You did it, yeah. You used it again. It worked here. It's not. I don't expect it to work as common, but that actually was a pretty good shine because it covered you after you dared.
Yeah, I do that a lot against Ellie specifically because her dare sucks, but she has lots of timing mix-ups. I don't know if it's actually good, but that's like my thought process.
Yeah, I think it can be more of a toss up than you'd like. Um, it's a more risky option versus something like up tilt, which is like much more disjointed,
Right.
and it's a
I
lot more
also
predictable and more reactable. Like you have more like it trades a lot better with shine with down air because
mm,
their multi hit and your regular hit, you're gonna be in way less hit stun. And you can hit like I've done that many times where I've traded with their and then comboed them off of it. You were gonna say something.
yeah, I was just gonna say like if they're they fake like a dare approach and then they hover, right? If I up tilt, I'm getting whiff punished. If I shine, I might still get whiff punished, but it's a lot less likely.
Possibly, yeah. But at the same time, you also can like try to like up tilt parry or something. Like
I
like they would have
mean,
to be very. I think that like they would have to be pretty precise. I think for to get your up
okay,
tilt with like mix ups as they're landing.
that's fair.
Um, that with the shine, like if you wanted to use shine to do that, you would also want to make sure you're like throwing a hitbox with your shine like after, because if you're trying to if they like your shine misses and you wave land, they're gonna get you with the mix up too. Like if you
Yeah.
wanted to try and cover yourself like on the ground, you would want to do like a shine and then an aerial to like cover multiple timings with a hitbox to make sure they can't delay themselves. That could be like
Hmm.
that could potentially
So
work
so
because
like
you're getting
shine and then
up air.
like immediate short hop up air,
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
that can actually
Okay.
cover better than like this is what I was saying about how a shine wave land doesn't cover a wave shine doesn't cover as much as you'd like because of the time it takes for you to like
Yeah.
wave
Yeah,
shine
that's a
out of
good
it.
point.
But if you use the shine after or before an aerial, or if you like, then you can cover yourself and then cover another timing. That way you
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
more hitboxes out. Like a shine nair is a great way to cover a lot of space if you don't expect disjoints, because
Yeah.
it's just hitbox barrage, you know. So that would be
Mhm.
something better to think about if you want to do these sorts of shines, just the shine aerial. And then there was a dare you did that I didn't like, right here.
Yeah. I think this dare was a misinput, or if it
Probably.
wasn't, I don't know why I went for it.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Yeah, it's you can tell clearly that wasn't the best of dares.
Yeah, and then that was also a misinput.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good pity flip to recover, but the air dodge didn't look natural because
Yeah,
you probably wanted to
one
like
to.
hit the wall or something. Yeah, probably something to think about with Ellie is to challenge her in the air a lot more. You're playing a lot very grounded, and you need to take advantage of like your up air a lot. Like
Mm,
especially, and I talked to Tennis about this yesterday. Things like up air shine aerial, like up air or something like that. It covers so much space in the air, and it has like you just have a hitbox out the entire time while you're like kind of challenging someone while you're like vertically upwards. So like that would like you definitely like in this matchup specifically, but in general when they're playing very aerial like this, you want to like challenge them with like up air, shine up air, and just like place hitboxes to be like I know where you're gonna be, and even if you like air dodge and change up your timings, I'm gonna get you because I have like 2 million hitboxes. So that would be something to think about with this matchup in particular.
yeah.
Uh, so this recovery is quite poor. You should have down bead and tried to get down and like recover your double jump.
Okay.
Like,
Do I not I double jump? I
what'd you say?
do I not still have my double jump at that point?
Oh, I actually don't know.
Uh,
It looked like you might have
yeah,
lost
I
it right there
do.
potentially.
I don't.
You lost your
Let's
you
see.
didn't have your air
Wall jump,
dodge.
air dodge.
Yeah,
Wall jump, air dodge, flip. So I do have a double jump.
yeah. This up B was basically pointless. Like it was kind of just like a panic. It might have been a panic move that you upbeat out of it, but that didn't really. That just gave him another free reset. Like you didn't make him work to try and reset the edge guard or anything.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not double jumping. You may not. Yeah, you may not have your double jump. Yeah, you may try to and didn't have it. But yeah, so this situation is a lot harder to down B. You may have been able to still, but it would have been harder. So I actually like the up Bs here. Um, but I wanted to, like something to address, I guess, with recovery is kind of like recognizing like I talked about this yesterday too, like do or die situations in recovery, where like you might be recovering where there's like a bunch of options, but there's only but like if your opponent's going to cover a certain option every time, and you know it's gonna like you're gonna lose, then even if you have to choose a worse option, that's better than the guaranteed losing option, right?
Right.
So as an example, you had no resources here. Now this up B, if you like, let's say you had no double jump. It seemed like you don't. Now the down B down would have been better, would have been best, right? But if you didn't
Hmm.
have the distance to do that, this up B is by far the worst option because
Yeah.
it covers absolutely nothing. They can react and do whatever they want to hit you like anywhere here. It's very unlikely that you're going to be able to like juke them out with an up B angle here, you know, unless you had just gone down. But you went straight in, and then he just reset the edge guard, and you got no resources back either. You didn't even make him work. Like you didn't even like if you had down beat and done this exact same thing to you, you would have had your resources and you could have tried again. You know.
Right. Right.
So the situations like this is like not a perfect example, but this is an important concept. Like the idea of like, oh, the only way I can make it back here is if I do X and they also mess up in this way and that way. But at least that's something. Then I'm guaranteed dead right now. And so you want
Yeah.
to be trying to thinking ahead in edge guards like recovery is where what is the one thing that will work if he's like if he's doing this or I'm going to die if I do anything else right here, and like recognizing situations like that or recognizing where you could pick an option but it's guaranteed going to lose, so you might as well do something that feels worse but at least it'll do a little better than the guaranteed absolutely like losing situation, you know.
Yeah.
So things like that. Like down being here would have been ideal, um, but yeah, otherwise it would have been better if you had like downbeat here, and even if like and this is important too with edge guards like recovery, even if you don't make it back onto the like stage or like you recover properly, sometimes it's good to choose a simple recovery and like get all your resources back like down being, and even if they like punish you right after, you get like a second chance from a different position to recover again, you know. You get a new mix up to try, and so you can and that you can still like do stuff like that where that's why like flipping can be really good where you flip just to land even if you get sent off stage again, because at least you
Yep.
get to try like another time versus like
Yeah.
up being and having no resources. So like those are like valuable things. Like this up B is actually pretty good because if you might have doubted if you down B here, right? But that would have been the instinctual thing is I need a down B and get my double jump back or I'm dead, right? But that's not
Yeah.
entirely true. You're
Yeah, I've been working
guaranteed
on
killing
breaking
yourself.
that habit
Right.
because,
It's a hard habit.
as we'll see
Like,
in the guard games, he punishes me really hard for that. And this was directly after, so I was like,
right. Like, that would be good to look at like, when we look at that next, because that'll be like another very clear issue where like that can be an important thing of it's just a habit, and if you die, this is at least better than dying immediately. Like,
yeah,
and it actually can work sometimes because people make mistakes, which it works right here. So I'm trying to see. Yeah, probably. That was fine. You probably would have wanted a wave dash after the up air just to try and kill him, but that was a fine up air, like to try and kill him off the top. So this dash attack is really poor, because in the situation right now, there is only like there is almost zero, like very few options that this Ellie has to work. Right,
yeah.
this dash attack almost like I don't know if there's a misinput.
It was probably a botched plat drop something. I don't remember, but I
Yeah,
doubt I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna dash attack them on purpose.
yeah. So because it might, but even then, the reaction I didn't really like either because it was a quick like sort of reactionary hit when all you would have had to do right now is patiently watch and
Yeah,
like see where they were gonna land and then charge a smash.
yeah.
So they kind of messed up their air dodge when they tried to get off. Like right here, they messed up their air dodge, but they almost landed here, right? But you almost ran off with an aerial or something this way to maybe catch them, right? But they were going to land
Hmm.
right here. And then they could have parried, and now they had recovered. Instead of, if all you have to
Yep.
do is wait, watch, and then reactively go for something. You could have just waited and then reverse down smash, kill them. Or if they got here, you could have then dropped down, nair up smash, kill them off the top. Here, if they get higher in air dodge, you just wait for the air dodge. Like, this would be a situation where you want to be patient and you just like there's like very few options they have, so there's no reason to go for any like quick options or reads or anything because you have enough time to react and play around with it. You still get the kill, but it could have been like
It could have been a lot cleaner
exactly, yeah, and pretty much that they could if they had
and
played that
more
better they could have,
guaranteed.
right, they could have killed you out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, all right, with that I think I want to look at one of the guard games now. And just kind of talk a little bit about this, cause especially because you get dumpstered. I think that would be great. So here, let me turn the volume down. All right, let's see this. Go to the platform. He nairs. That was good. Really good patience. Just kind of waiting over here. He tried. He like, and this is good because he tries. He tries to cover you dropping, right? So just waiting there for a
Yeah.
second can be really good.
So an overarching question I have, right? That's basically my strategy against like Clarins who spam Nair and neutral, right? Is to go and like mess around on the plat and punish them for it that way.
Sure.
Um, can you hear the music in the background of my mic?
I hear nothing. I just hear you.
Okay, cool. But later he starts doing a really good job of like not letting me do that, and I was struggling to sort of adapt to it. Uh,
Okay.
and as it progresses, like I just find it really hard to get. I can get like chip damage, but I really struggle to get like actual solid combo starters. So
Okay.
insight on that, I think, will be helpful.
Okay. Hopefully it happens so I can actually see what he does and then talk about
Yeah,
stuff that you can do. But this is a good up air. Very bad. Yeah. This was this
yeah,
that was a poor. Well, that I mean obviously like it was a slow air dodge, but this is something that I talked about before that probably needs to will have to like come up a bit more over and over. Is like kind of pushing buttons faster and kind of like going for more. I don't know if there's more you're trying to react more or what, but in that situation, like after the up air, like there's no way you're gonna hit anything after a wave. Like he was able to hit you out of it, or he could have jumped out. So you'd
yeah,
want to go for like an up air and just start going for like multiple up airs and just like hitting him, and like
yeah,
kind of just like doing stuff like really fast. And so like, but again, you can't reactively just do that. You kind of have to hit the first up air, sort of react to the hit, and then realize where he is, and then start going for stuff, and then you need to like combine it. And I think you can be more reactive in situations when you need to go for more like reads or just like kind of like buffering more and going for like moves that you like expect that's
Right.
going to happen.
Right. But when I get a sour up air at 0, I can't like wait and watch their DI or
Exactly.
whatever.
Right. He has no hit, like very little. Like he has enough that you could have like full hop up aired again, you know.
Yeah.
But that's about
Yeah.
it. And you tried to like react, and he might have like drifted this way, and you tried to get him. But a lot of times they're going to either jump out or hit you, so you were going to drop that no matter what. But he did a good bear. And then I think this happens. Yeah. So you kind of did shines twice while he's in the air, like.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah. That's
shines
a bad habit.
basically, those shines did like pretty much nothing for you, you know.
Yeah.
So
Especially against Claren, who, like, even if she is going to try to hit me immediately, her hitboxes are probably going to beat Shine. So that's
right,
just
I
like
mean they're
a
quite,
bad habit.
especially like from like coming from above. That shine wasn't going to hit anything unless they landed on you.
Yeah, which is unlikely.
Right. So like probably like I mean it's a general habit, but yeah, like when you're trying to like tech, you want to make sure that when you're going for tech and place shines, you're keeping a very vigilant eye on where you are in relation to them, you know? Right now,
Yeah,
these look like pretty much autopilot. They probably are, just like autopilot
they,
shines.
they, they definitely are.
Right. You know, and especially the wave shines out of them again, you know? You did, like, you covered almost, like, you covered very little with that shine, and then you did nothing for a few frames by wave dashing. Like,
Yep.
again, like, even here, you might have been able to tech and place shine up air. Maybe not. Would have been
Uh,
tough. But either way, it was slow. It gave you
but
nothing
yeah,
versus
point
potentially something.
taken.
Yeah, point. Yeah, yeah. All right. So yeah. So once again, you're kind of in the corner. You just wait, and he nares you.
Yeah, I wanted
This
to like whiff punish that nair, but he went a little further.
he did. Yeah, he placed it perfectly, where you don't really have the option to whiff punish it when you have
No
no space
stage.
to work
Yeah.
with. So this is something that's very common when being cornered, and something I talk to a lot about is when being cornered. There's an important thing of basically trying to get around your opponent.
Mm.
So this platform is pretty safe, and oftentimes when you're in this corner, your opponent's going to try and come at you like here, right? Because you're grounded, they can cover you jumping up to this platform and trying to gain more stage control. They are pressuring you into the corner. So what you can actually do in a lot of situations where you're cornered is to basically give up a little stage control and loop around them. So obviously, if they like full hop hit you while you're jumping this way, they've gotten even more stage and they've pushed you further. But chances are they have to read you flying, trying to go like here and double jumping there. It's harder to read that since you're also like moving further away. So I think this is like a pretty like a useful thing to keep in mind of a way that you can get out of the corner is to kind of just loop around, try to get to the platform, and if they
Yeah,
hit you when you're looping around, like with a nair especially, he might get a
it
reverse
might
hitbox and
send me
send you
back
that way,
towards center.
right? And so
Yeah,
you're just trying to get out of a bad situation, especially against a Claren with nair like this. They just cover like all of this and then place a beautiful hitbox here. I mean, it is a tough situation, and so you don't want to get caught here, and you can't really challenge much, even with your up tilt, which is one of your best like sharking tools. So that would be
yeah,
like a valuable thing to think about whether there's a platform or not here, or if there isn't, it would be harder. But moving around is very useful for getting out of corners. Hold on, I think I turned off the volume. I kind of want to hear something. All right, so let's see with your recovery. DI out, that's good. You're up being. I like the sideways up B, and he covers it down, double jump. Okay. I like that. So that did work. I was gonna say you could have down B'd. You ended up B'ing again. But I like that you tried to up B to the wall and get a tech and then down B, which is a good
yeah.
idea as well. So that was a good
But
mix
when
up.
he's yeah, I figure when he's standing there like that, he's obviously gonna do a tilt, so I
Right.
can just
That was a pretty smart move, like over there, because yeah, you could have downbeat and tried to double jump recover as well. This is a pretty good thing. He probably should have. He should have down tilted and then covered you trying to do this.
yeah,
Um, so it's dangerous, but it worked. But it's dangerous to do these things when you don't have resources because they can actually cover it easily since your down B isn't fast enough. If you can like
right,
double jump bear or wave shine, you have like an actual invincible option. But
right,
that's just an option that it can. That's why often when I'll play against like Zetters, I'll like fair this wall like similar to what he did like when he down tilted, and then I'll up tilt right after to cover
Mm.
that and that down B like tech, and it works like a charm. It covers like any tech option other than like something like a wave. And if I know that I can't do like a ledge dash, then it works like very well.
Yeah.
But that was a good mix up. I like that. I don't like the down smash.
Yeah.
General rule of thumb always for me is always like don't go for smashes unless you're going for kills.
Yeah.
Doesn't hold true, but yeah, like here like the down smash is very reactable, so that he could choose how to DI and get away. Um, but he actually DI'd hard in, so this is an important thing to keep in mind too, is preemptive fireballs, or not preemptive, but like
Autopilot.
fireballs that are too early. Yeah, your fireball threw your combo away. You could have actually gotten a fair
Yeah.
sweet spot here that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
So like you oftentimes don't like fireball is the safe but also more like worse option
Low
in a
reward.
situation. Yeah, low reward, but like it's low risk to an extent, but it also can be more if like what he did right now. He kind of came back because you have no hit stun on the fireball. So
Right.
these fireballs should mostly be stuff where you're sure that they're gonna fly this way. He DI'd kind of well in a mix up, but if you had gone for a fair, you would have got him, you know? But instead,
Yeah.
he like your fireball covered nothing. So these fireballs are really important. They're extremely common at low level. They happen a lot. Like I see like happen with a bunch of different Zetters because it's a safe option to go for like the fireball at like these lower percents. But they give you so little unless you play off of them well that you don't want to be going for them unless you know they're going to be like DIing out or you reactively see them do it. And so yeah, now he's able to reverse it. Good ledge dash doesn't do anything out of it.
Yeah. I don't know why I upbeat there. I don't remember.
That honestly, I think that was a shine because I've done stuff where I upbeat by mistake out instead of shining in situations since I was like hitting too hard,
Could
like
be.
too hard. I would expect a shine since hitting special there. I wouldn't see why else, especially because it seems kind of like your mo to like hit shine when you're like kind of on the ground and try to like get out of it when they're like above you.
Yeah.
Bad option again. So like
Yeah. I should
I
have done like bear there.
I mean, in this situation, it would have been like probably an up air would have been good to hit the jump or an up tilt into parry because he like kind of double jumped and then he like tried to hit you or just a parry something else. But yeah, but definitely like what I assume was a shine wouldn't be a great idea there. So this jump is kind of dangerous.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Um,
Because if I get hit there, I'm dead.
Right, like close to death. Like it would be a hard situation.
Yeah.
This would be a
I'm off
situation where
stage
like you'd want to be
with
like more
no jump.
patient and kind of just like you could double jump and like this is an important thing is a lot of times like with like recoveries there's times where you just getting to the edge of the stage is like a lot safer than getting here because they try to cover you doing like the more obvious
Yeah.
safer options and then suddenly like getting to the edge of the stage is like the most safest spot. But again, these are all unnecessary. You should have just dropped. Like
Yeah.
you should have just tried to fall down, but you're like air dodging and trying to get to center stage and land, and he's kind of able to like he kept you in the air for most of that. And then this is an important thing. So this up air is poor only because you didn't take advantage of your positioning. So you are in like a perfect position to try and kill him in this area, top the top here or off the
So
side here.
do like a turnaround nair then?
So there's multiple options, but something that you could use to push him this way. Not to mention, and again, it's obvious that he would want to DI this way. He wants to get back to
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah.
This is like the essence of shine up air, and like up air like chains off the top. Is people try
Mm.
to DI in and you like stare away them off to the corner because they're trying to get back in. So like you could even done if you had done something like full like double jump like full like short hop shine and then double jump like diagonally this way to like up air and kill him, it might have worked.
Interesting.
So like that's basically what Mike does, and that's kind of like the essence of how he gets them is you mix up their DI. Like you go for you use the shine to push them this way
Right.
and
And they're
force
DIing in, so they go straight
exactly
up.
right.
Yeah.
And so you then don't let them get that you don't let them get behind you this way by constantly hitting only the sour spots in and you're always like on the right of them. So you want to like maintain that
Yeah.
position if you're going to go for it, and then eventually you hit it, and then you're able to reverse your direction with the shine, drift into them, and then that automatically gets you to hit a sweet spot. This would be
Right.
like this would be like kind of like a mini like little tutorial on like how to hit that or how to set it up well and go for them. But even then, you could have gone for like wave like you could have maybe gone for a second up tilt. You could have gone for just a sour spot up air while running forward, knowing that you're
Hmm.
going to hit the sour spot and send him this way and then nair. Like you said, you could have turned around nared. You could have bared. Just lots of options. But you wanna always keep in mind that an up air sweet spot can always be DI'd in, and
Yeah.
it's always going to send like just straight up. So it could actually be value if you knew that he was going to DI in, which he might have. You could have up aired and followed him. That would have worked. Like you didn't, but you ended up not like sprinting at him. You kind of jumped, which is something that I'm noticing too. Is that you tend to like jump straight out of like some hits sometimes, which at like mid to high percent you'd want to make sure that you're like, if you did it, you immediately like sprint right or wave dash right and
Yeah.
follow him if you knew. So that would be something that you would want to keep in mind. But the DI here is so vitally important. It's like it's a very staple of like kind of like the game. Like almost 90% of players are going to be DIing in here, and you would like,
Yeah, of
and
course.
every Zetter you'd want to take advantage of that. But yeah, that would be an important thing of thinking about like where you want to take them and with your combo and where they're DIing. Because right now you got like 13%, but then now he's escaped to a platform and got away.
Right, and it's reset. Yeah.
Right. That was very interesting. Um,
Just missed the tech.
yeah, once again, you kind of are like just hanging out on the ground in the corner and you're asking to get nared while falling. Like,
Mm.
it's happened like two or three times this game already where you've just been staying here and it looks
Yeah.
like you're trying to like maybe whiff punish him as he comes like here. But he's smarter. Like he knows that you're sitting here and if he
Right.
throws his
And I'm
hitbox, it's
so I'm
going
just
to
putting myself
right.
in a position where he can checkmate me.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
you're kind of like asking for him to just place the hitbox where it covers here and here. That's like the
Right.
nature of Nair, and he's taking advantage of it very, very well. I think you double jump here into that Nair. Let me see.
I think so.
You do, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, another thing is probably I think when in this set you've been much more nervous off stage and scared of him, and you're double jumping quickly, and he's punishing it a lot. It's a very common habit. I even told you to look for it when I was like kind of talking to you, like training you for RAS and stuff. Same thing, like he's kind of catching it. Ah, it's unfortunate. I think you tried to pity flip
One
maybe.
pity flip to the plat.
Yep, yeah. Yeah, that pity flip, that would have been a good idea. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But either way, yeah. Honestly, in this situation, and this is probably this is again kind of an idea I was talking about when you were on that side of the stage. You could have very much dropped slowly and then reactively done something. Like you could have drifted to place your basically create a trajectory for you to land, and then you could have either air dodged up to get away and get inside.
I don't have my air dodge at that point.
You
So I think
do.
if he places a hitbox, oh, when did I get it back?
You always had it actually. You never used it.
Did I not?
Yeah.
Hang on.
So
It,
you just have your air dodge this whole time. You never end up using it off stage this entire situation. Yeah.
oh, I'm mixing it up with on the right side when I like air dodged up. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking I air dodged up at one point.
Right. Also,
Okay,
just
then
a
yeah,
quick thing.
yeah,
This indicator should be something you're like constantly taking like mini glances at to just double check. Because most importantly, this also can tell you if you already use your air dodge, this can tell you whether you got your double jump back as well as your air dodge as well in a situation.
yeah.
Because if you landed and you got your air dodge back, you had to have
That
gotten
means
your
you
double
also
jump back.
right.
So this indicator is such valuable information. You should especially in a situation where you're all the way high up here and you have nothing to look at. Great thing to take a glance and just all you have to do is see in the periphery. Does that look black or white? It's so easy to tell.
Yeah,
That needs to be like a staple of your gameplay is like constantly aware of that. And you should have known also and kept track that you don't have your double jump still. Like
yeah. I'll try to start looking at the indicator. I basically never do.
yep, yeah, I know. Some people don't even know it exists. I didn't know if it
Yeah.
existed for probably years, I think, and then I finally learned, and then I realized how valuable it is. So definitely just a thing to keep in mind. But yeah, right here, when you're landing, you actually have a lot of power to be landing high like this, and you get to watch what he does. And one really simple thing you can do is you can literally land and then just air dodge to the ground. And like, it seems more riskier because again, you're not like getting towards center stage, but against good players, this becomes a safe zone in a way because they're not covering as much because they're watching for you to come there. So you have like
Right.
mix-ups upon mix-ups where now this is suddenly a dangerous place when it's naturally safe, and this is good. And so when you were here, you could like naturally just kind of fall, drift here, and then like air dodge there, or you could have down bead this way like after to try and get in, or
Hmm.
like, you could have just air dodged down, which is what I like to do a lot because you can air dodge down and then air parry immediately after, and cover yourself, which is something Mike does a lot too, and it's a common thing to kind of like go for like ledge dash parry right here in this corner. It is brutally broken, and you also get to be invincible as you're landing and air dodging down. So it's a very valuable option to keep in mind. Something that's not like talked about a lot because it's kind of unintuitive. It's not exactly what you think you'd want to be, but it's a very good like kind of baity thing, and it lets you and it allows you to also it teaches you patience, and it also teaches you that you don't have to like be anxious to just get in. Like your goal is not just to be here. Your goal is safety wherever that is in the entire
Right.
stage. So it helps you to kind of think about that. Okay, right here. That was actually you're kind of playing on the platforms again. He doesn't really nair you or anything. He's just kind of playing the center. He does a weird up B, but you catch him again. This is kind of another once more situation. You wave dash. I don't even think that. I'm not. It almost didn't look like a buffered wave dash, but even if it was, you didn't like. You waited too long again. You know, like it was so
Yeah.
minute. It was so microscopic, but it was the difference between you comboing potentially on this platform to kill or pushing him to combo to kill him here, and him getting down for free and then resetting.
Right.
And it was like super minute. But that these are like the big things. Like these are like this is like it's you've gotten better at kind of like basically mashing more, hitting more buttons, but you still need to get even more better at like hitting more buttons and kind of like you should feel like once you hit that like you should be your reactions need to be better. Where once you hit that fair, you need to be like, oh shoot, like I need to. He is like DIing in prime position above a platform where I can have fun with the nair or up tilt. I
Yeah.
need to just like fly at him, and you kind of like expect him to like tech maybe, and he just can like he's like already out of hit stun and can just chill, you know. And then this fireball again, you kind of like pulled back, and you could have like dash attacked or something here, but instead you like nair and just kind of like
Did
sit.
I?
Yeah, because he was kind of falling from the hit stun. Let me see. Yeah, if you had placed a dash attack, if you had buffered one, it would have hit like this area and caught him basically as he was
Hmm.
falling.
Okay.
It would be you would have to be kind of you would have to kind of have to read it or like not a read, but it would be a bit of a read. So that's why this can be a little harder because you hit only the last hit, so you had no indicator of his DI. If he DI'd in, he would
Yeah.
have been right above you. Chances are he was going to be DIing this way though, because once again, basic principles, he's trying to get away from you and he's able to get more towards center stage. So
Yeah.
that would be something you'd want to be expecting is him to want to go here. Plus, you're using a move where if he DIs completely out, he gets out. But because you hit the last hit, you could have potentially followed him. But then he techs the fireball, like, hit him, and that's good. But then you kind of mess up your inputs. But you could have tried to follow him.
Yeah.
So again, here you're just kind of playing very grounded and patient, and then he's kind of just playing patient in the platform. It's possible he could have landed with a nair a fair amount of the time, like in between here, you know.
Yeah.
So like once again, like you're kind of putting yourself in the corner and then holding that position. Wow, I did not expect that to work. So you've dumbfounded me. I would not have expected anyone to go for that. And then he kind of is throwing the nair. So this will be a good situation to talk about kind of like the nature and dynamics of you playing on this platform and him nairing to cover you. Is there's a lot of very minute spacing involved. So if he's on the ground and he full hop nairs, depending on where he starts it, he can only cover a certain amount of this platform with it. Especially because he only
Right.
covers the platform with like the apex of his nair, right? So if he like nairs and he covers here, which you actually punish him for at the very beginning of this game where you ran here and then up aired him, right? So that's one distance. Now when he's here, he can cover this entire platform with the up air, with the nair, because he can fly at you and place his hitboxes anywhere on this platform. So like in that situation when you're in an air and he moves here, you need to be like, okay, I'm out and like drop down or something because
Yeah.
he sees you and he's going to go for an up and like Nair is pretty laggy. So you can literally but what you can do simply is drop down and then just shark him immediately with the double jump down up air. Very common move that I love to do, and a lot of like Zetters like it's a. I mean I don't know how common other Zetters do, but I love to just like stay on a platform and I see them in the air near me, drop down and then shark them, and it will catch them a lot because they will be trying to cover this whole platform and then you've like moved away. It's a very simple but valuable thing to keep in mind. Is just like simply getting away from the position that you're going to get hit from a different angle and then coming back to hit them. So that would be a situation where I would recommend you like try to get away from him and like draw and like kind of like stay on the edge and move away. So that way he covers like all of this space with his nair and you're like getting to back to like the one spot where you're not going to die, you know? And then
Yeah.
potentially if you do it high enough, you could up air and hit like a sour spot or sweet spot and then wave land perfectly onto the platform and then follow him instead of just like winning a neutral exchange. Um, but yeah, so like you'd want to be dynamically watching him as he's placing to know what he can and can't do and where you need to be for safety, which is basically spacing. But for this nair, you'd want to know like this is similar for like Zetter up air, where if Zetter tries to like shark you with an up air, he can only shark like a certain spot depending on where he's gonna be. So he can either overshoot or undershoot, and the same goes for guard. He can either overshoot his nair by getting closer, but then you can start to punish him for getting too close, or he can
Right.
undershoot it and then you can wait and punish him for doing that. And so you'd want to be just basically keeping in mind what he can do spacing wise and then constantly adapting. Like when he gets on the platform here, that would be where you'd want to be like, oh, he's coming at me. Like I should have like like this actually would have been a good position for you to like run, see him coming at you maybe or watching, and then just drop here. You know, like
Hmm.
you're going to the corner, but you're going to a corner with a purpose. You're not hanging out in the corner because you're scared of what he's gonna do. You're aggressively running away, or you're basically baiting him, but you're being very aware of what he's doing and where you're positioning it and why you're here. Now you'll have a purpose for why you're there, and so when you run, you'll have a better idea of like what you want. You'll have like an idea, a visualization in your head of I'm gonna run here and then I'm gonna shark him. So you won't be waiting and reacting too much. You'll be primed to watch for this nair, which is another kind of general concept. Is like when you're primed or looking for something, you'll react better to it versus just out of the blue. So like
Yeah.
that's something to keep in mind. The DI on the up tilt was like somewhat smart, scary, but okay, a little too much. Maybe
Yeah.
probably like should have maybe DI'd out a little earlier, but he kind of just covered you trying to get back. Like again, like you could have just easily like tried to like land an air dodge down. Once again,
Yeah.
like I said, right, like that air dodge down is actually really valuable once you start using it, because he can try and cover you by like following you down here, but at least you'll be on the ground, potentially on the inside, potentially either to parry or potentially getting away quicker versus like you're slowly falling here and then he just hits you while you're here and sends you further off stage. So like you do it right, like you kind of did it right there. You landed right. If you had like air dodged, it would have been faster if you wanted to be like more comfortable, you know. So like,
Mm.
and he kind of just like lost because he tried to hit you double jumping back or getting back again. Like he just like tries to hit you like kind of like up here, and you just are like chilling down here, you know, in safety.
Yeah. And I mean, I was trying to whiff punish that dare, but he drifted.
Yep, exactly right. You placed it very slightly off.
Yeah.
Probably, I don't know if you're. It might be that you're trying to place your up airs like maybe you're trying to place it too precisely instead of covering a range because your sour spot and sweet spot cover like different like areas just around you. So that might be that might be just something you have to work on more is like when you're trying to shark, like looking for like, and also like controlling your drift when you're jumping. Like you can do a lot, like if you would like drifted slightly out as you started your jump, or like run away and then jump and like straight up and then to the right versus like you kind of went in like an arcing motion, you know, so you weren't able to move back enough to like cover that spot.
Right,
So
right.
like stuff like there's very like minute stuff like that, but those will probably come more with time and harder to focus on just directly. Ooh, okay. I want to see you lost neutral here. Just want to see that again.
Yeah, that was supposed to be like wave dash F tilt, not dash attack, like back and then dash attack.
Oh, wait, what are you talking about? Oh,
That,
I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, that
yeah,
was that. Yeah, that I figured that makes sense. And then here, so yeah, he parries you.
that I'm kind of mad.
This is the nature of rivals. Is when you like whiffed aerial parrying is like actually extremely busted in like the game. If you do it, and if you like, sometimes you have to like wait and then wait for the parry to punish them properly, or you have to be extremely precise. And your punish was not very precise, partly because you also got behind him, so you obviously like went further than you needed to get the shine on him.
Right, I
Um,
wanted to get behind him so I could like shine F tilt and push him off stage.
that's like basically like you're like kind of trying to get too much out of it. Like that's gonna take way too long most of the time to like do it. It's like close, but you would have hit him if you actually just shined instead of going in and tried to shine. You know,
Yeah,
very minute. But probably like what I would say for once again, like you're trying to you're playing like a very dangerous game. Like you're trying to whiff punish in this corner. He has so much power on you in this situation. You
hmm,
haven't once tried to rotate to the platform and gain like positioning as he's coming at you, or as you think he's going to come at you. You've like again, like you're just like asking to get like hit, and then the one
yeah.
time you
I guess I'm
miss.
just scared of getting swatted out of the air by like Nair if I try to, full hop double jump. Go to
Yeah,
the
well, that's why you'd want to be double jumping or full hopping, not like as like a general move, but in response to him approaching you. You know, it's a get off me tool, not a general neutral tool. Like this double jump getting out is really valuable because people don't expect you to be here when you're in the corner. They more often expect you to be just right around here, either short hopping or like rolling or dash. Like they expect like this range. People don't expect you to be here often when you go for like when you're in the corner. Now obviously also you've been staying here, so you wouldn't try to read that, right? But it's a mix up that you haven't taken advantage of, or like a mix up in neutral of, hey, this time I'm going to go above and try to get around you. And if you had done that, you would have gotten around because he's only covering this spot because he only has to, you know? And so the fear is real and understandable, but it's also like you want to be thinking about that like as he's coming at you, like I want to get away around because I expect him to be covering like this arc. So like it's like useful for the specific situation. Like it's an understandable fear, but if you're doing it as he's coming at you, he's not going to be able to try and cover this and this together, you know?
right, right.
So you'd want to be trying to make sure you're at least limiting what he can do, and especially when like you know that he's coming at you with nair here. He's never placed a nair far, never run at you too far, or tried to read a double jump like a jump here, and so there's no reason to be fearful of that when
Right.
he hasn't done anything, you know. I like that. It was a good try. I'm not sure if the wave dash was. I I don't actually. I don't think it lost you any speed or anything. I think he just DI'd out, and there was only so much you could do.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, I think maybe if I up aired instead of fared, I could have caught it. But I mean, that was like, eh.
yeah. Actually, you could have potentially done like a runoff up air.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
it
what
would have
I'm
been
saying.
very. Yeah, that might have worked. I don't know. I actually wonder if that wave dash. It looked slow. I'm trying to see this, but this wave dash didn't
I
look.
think so. I think I buffered it.
Okay, no, it looks like you did. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, it was just that you tried to combo him. He got sent out. Got sent off stage. There's only so much you could do there. Okay. Why did you lose? I'm just trying to see why you lost neutral here. Again, like the shine, once again, like that shine did like a lot. Like you look very sluggish when you do it. If you notice, like,
Yeah, yeah. I'll work on that habit.
yeah, just kind of just trying to make sure, like, just kind of like you can see, like, you look sluggish there. It's kind of an issue. All right. I like that. I like that attempt on the waveland. Unfortunate DI.
Yeah.
Good stuff sometimes. So yeah, now he's kind of taunting you. That was good. I like this a lot. This is really good. Very smart. Yeah, that was a good F tilt into waiting. Into an F tilt.
Yeah. What do so I dropped this edge guard. I don't know exactly what to go for after these jabs.
Okay. Okay. All right, guard. Okay, that was actually really smart of him to know his character like that. First off, this fair I don't love because he could easily drop down so quickly. You
Yeah.
got pretty lucky that you were able to parry this, but like it was a good parry and you managed to. I'm actually surprised you got it because you even tried to dare right after. I would have. It would have been a good idea if you had just like double jumped and then like air dodge down parry, but you got it.
Hmm.
The jab worked. He has no double jump now, right? So he DI'd very very well. So you can just wait here. And this is an important thing. You depleted his double. Like you should have. If you didn't catch it, you should have caught the fact that he lost his double jump here. That's step one. So that should have been already in your mind and awareness, because he double jumped right there and he lost it.
Yeah. I know he lost his double jump, so I
Yeah,
was figuring, oh, he lost his double jump. He's gonna hold in. I'm gonna fair dare him,
right.
and he.
So this is kind of Guard being a good player is showing you what a good player will do. Is he's smart enough to know that he can still DI out and escape because he knows the setups. He drifted out a bit. So in that situation, when in a sense you kind of have to expect the good option, which is to DI out and to just wait and not, because even if he DIs in, he still have to recover from low with no double jump now. His mix-ups are limited,
And
and now
also
you
no
can.
air dodge since he. Yeah.
Well, no, he used the air dodge on you. He wouldn't have used it if you didn't follow him.
Fair.
He air dodged in reaction to you coming. So even if you like, well, actually, this is important. He probably had to use it no matter what, based on the way you jabbed and he DI'd it to escape it. He DI'd without you even coming after him. He DI'd almost out and away. You should have been like, this is prime
So if I
time.
recognize that, I can go and wait for the air dodge and kill him.
Exactly. Well, you could have waited for the air dodge, or you could just wait, because he could also just like drop really low and then air dodge. So you don't want to risk like
Right,
he could
right,
have even
right.
like air dodged like a little, like waited a little more and then air dodged later, and suddenly you're waiting for an air dodge. Like all of these are actually reads, even though they feel like obvious setups, like going for the fair and everything. They're all like kind of still reads, and when you're as good as you are as guard, sometimes these reads are so precise that messing them up can result in you like getting reversed a little. And so even though it feels like obvious, it's like the slightest DI change messes up. Like it's why I tend not to get hit. Like a lot of times when there's like dare setups, I'll tend to like air dodge through them a lot, because oftentimes I'll just DI out and they'll try to go for it a lot, you know? And so this would be a very good situation to recognize, like, if he DIs in, he's in like a bad position. If he DIs out, he's in a really bad position. Probably needs to use air dodge. Suddenly, I have a recover. I have to edge guard a Claire with no double jump, and air dodge, which is way nicer than with them. So again, this is kind of the idea of like resource depletion, right? Your task is done.
Yeah,
You've taken his double jump away. You don't need to finish the stock. You can, but you can also play patiently and edge guard more efficiently and not risk yourself in the situation. And
right.
now I understand why you did this. This is a fine. This is a normal choice to make. But this is what separates mid and like mid level play to high level and like high into top level. Like this is what the difference is these micro interactions where they don't fall for that and they're able to like reverse you for it because you like
Right.
overextended. And probably a down B would have been better there, but I mean, it's that like kind of like like trying to getting used to like panic down being instead of panic up being You do it
Yeah.
sometimes, and then other times, or you down B in those panic situations when you're prepared, like when you up B here and then you react
Yeah,
B with
I
launching.
was just processing that I got hit by double side B, and I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, right. You would want to make it so that like in those situations, your default panic option is always like to try and down B there, because the up A will mostly just get you hit since you're right here and like kind of just sitting a duck. So it's more like to work on getting your muscle memory a bit more that way. Try to shine. He messes up there, and then once again you wait and you actually try to shine here, which is a very. I'm pretty sure. I think I saw the startup of shine animation right here. Let's see. Oh shoot. Yep. You try
Yep.
to shine. So yeah. Another like very tough anti-air. Oh, this was really good. Bad down smash. So we'll talk. So let me explain why.
Yeah, what should I do there instead of down smash? Because I'm just like, I want to send him off stage. Down smash sends
Right.
off stage.
Yep. So this is kind of. Do you remember I did like this little like thing on like like edge guarding? I did like a little like seminar or something in like.
Yeah, I remember that. But this is a situation where, like, I guess I could have tried to just nair to catch him before he hits the stage, but I
Exactly.
wasn't
Yeah. There you go.
confident in being fast enough.
Oh, you. Oh wait. What do you mean? Oh, that is no excuse. Hold on. Let's see what happens. So again, you kind of box yourself neutral. That's the usual stuff. That's fine. Um, I like this. Like, how did you get your double jump back? Wait, hold on.
Wait, what?
What the? How did you get your double jump back here?
I...
Oh my goodness.
Wait, what?
Did you get? Okay, hold on.
It looks like it was like uh, double jump, like preservation, but with down B, but that's not a thing.
That's not a thing with the immediate down B. That's not how that works. I was actually.
Yeah.
You're
What?
not supposed to have your double jump here. Okay. Do you have you have the replay for this still?
Um, yes.
You might. If you
Hope
do, check it. I want to look at that again.
look at the inputs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
look at
yeah,
the,
I
or
can
just
do
like
that
send
after
it to
this.
like Dan or someone. That shouldn't happen. That might be a little bit of an issue where you got hit after, or that might be even
I,
like the way it works. I don't
I'm
know.
not. It might just be like a weird thing. It might not be a bug.
It may
But
just be
yeah,
like a weird
we'll look at
interaction,
it.
but I'm curious. Anyway, that's a side note. But yeah, you should
Yeah,
not
yeah,
have your double
I'll
jump.
definitely look at that.
Yeah, you should have been a lot more screwed here. I like the double jump down B, but
I also don't know why. Like I tried to double jump, you know?
yeah. So I said I like the double jump down because I like when people do that because at least they like know that they can get their double jump back. Um, but also I don't like this because you kind of just put yourself in more harm's way when you could have
Yeah,
dropped
it's
low.
gonna lose to the up B.
Right, like you could have dropped low. Either like you double jumped away. Actually, this kind of makes sense, but you could have like double jumped and then tried to like you had to DI out, and then you could have tried to double jump and like and then flip over and hit
Just flip
over.
over, yeah,
Right,
immediately.
but like
Because he's obviously having to like go low, and I can,
he hits you with a very
yeah,
good up B, which would have been deadly. Even if you didn't have your double jump, you could have air dodged here, and then like flipped. You just had like the double jump and made it way easier. So right here, the things
yeah.
you
I
need to
should
keep.
just
So
nair,
here,
nair fair.
what you should have kept track of is number one, he has no resources, right? He
Hmm.
has absolutely no resources. He used up both his double jump and his air dodge. You can look down and double check to see
Yeah,
it.
yeah. At
So
this
that's
point,
like
I knew he had no resources. I just was like,
yeah.
okay, how am I gonna hit him?
So what you needed to do is number one, is the goal. So all your goal needed to be here is don't let him touch the stage and force DI out. That is your two goals here.
Mm.
So that is all you needed to do here. So
So nair.
you had a myriad of options. So number one, you could have just jab F tilted. Your jab would keep him in place, and your F tilt will suck him in. It will not let him
Mhm.
land because it's kind of a grab, and immediately you can go for a fair. He has to DI. He has to make sure he drifts out and doesn't get hit by a sweet spot fair from your F tilt. If he DIs in, he dies. If he DIs in and drifts out slightly, he might die, and he has to DI out. Now he's a Claren with no resources, forced to DI out, and now that's almost.
Yeah,
And now you basically you've put him in a lose lose. You've put him in a rock between a rock and a hard place. Either he's getting fared for DIing in, or he's going too far off stage and he's not going to be able to make it back on stage, and he has to up B raw. So this is a situation where those are the only two things you need to keep in mind, because you just want you like this down smash. Like your goal shouldn't be I want him off stage. Your goal, like this is what I kind of talked about in the little like edge guarding thing, was your goal isn't he needs to be off stage. Your goal is to kill him. How are you
Yeah.
going to kill him here? Is you want to either kill him off the side with fair chains because he might have to DI in, or you want to
Right.
force him. You want to make it so he can't make it back.
Right.
So like you could have nared, but a single nair actually like a 3-hit nair might have been a bad idea, because
Really?
so here's why. What you would have had to maybe do is if you 3-hit naired and he DI'd out, you'd force DI out, but now he's like able to DI out and be like here and then go
Like up
low.
B. Yeah. Okay.
So if he DI'd out the nair, unless you read it hard and followed him, he could have went down and he would have been able
Right.
to recover. He
Right.
might have been able to get away regardless. If he DIs in, he gets to be right above you, and that actually can be a tough situation to be in, because
I think on hard DIN, Nair Fair connects there though, right?
you can get a sweet spot fair, but you only be able to get one because your momentum will force you to stay in place or move
Mm.
back from a
Okay.
nair. So
Yeah.
if you short hop naired here, you would have to, if you DI'd hard in, you wouldn't like, the only way you could, like, if you naired and you could keep your momentum to keep following him, is if he DI'd like in and then like drifted out, or like no DI in, and he would go this way. Rare. Either he's flying all the way out or he's going straight up. And when he goes straight up, now you're going to have to jump back or jump straight and fair him. That's a very good combo as an ender, but not as not as a chain starter for like fair chains or something. You have zero momentum. He's going to be able to DI and drift a bit, react, and get you. And now you.
That makes sense.
So it's very nuanced, but it's very important. Like what your goal is like you would want to just force DI in with moves that he has to, like, you can easily react to, like, or you can just go for reads on DI in and force DI out. So like what you could have done also is you could have done Nair 2 and then fair for a sweet spot, because you would have been able to keep some momentum fair and then immediately fly at him and go for a second fair, forcing DI out. So that would
Gotcha.
have worked, but Nair 3 would have sent him too far up, where following the struggle is that not only would the Nair 2 like the Nair 3 would send him up and you have to jump up, but you would have had to send him with the fair at a higher angle. So then he would, instead of being like getting hit by a fair and going here, he's now here, and you can't easily place a sweet spot here at all now. You have a chance to
Right.
do it if he's lower. So, like, again, very nuanced, but that Nair fair would basically place him in like a harder situation, and so it would have been harder to work with. So yeah, pretty much I would say a very like easy thing to do would have been like jab F tilt and then go for a fair covering DIN. It would have been simple, and it would have been
Yep.
like it would have given you exactly what you wanted. You could have even gone a little more deep because he would have had no resources, and if he tried to counter hit you with like an up B, he would have died. He could have tried to side B you, but he might die too, you know? So like you would basically be cutting off all options where you're making it so no matter what he's dying. This was the worst, because you basically sent him off with actually a very nice angle. He got to gain height,
Yeah.
air dodge through you. He didn't even have to get hit by that fair. Like it's a nice idea and all to go for like down smash, like fireball can work, but the setup's not very guaranteed. People can air dodge most
Yeah.
of the time, and now you're reversed. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, now you're SD too, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So here, actually, that's not a bad. That is not a bad up B. You went a little too low, but you also did want to avoid the dare. But you
Yeah.
could have also went really low, like higher, forced the tech, and then you could have just double jump bared. So
Mm.
you want to keep in mind that teching is like, I mean, you kind of see that, but teching is not a last ditch effort. Like if you see Mike recover a lot, and this is something I should do more. He will like purposefully constantly up B just to the edge because he wants the tech, because it's actually favorable, like for Zetterburn. So like thinking about a tech as like a weapon in your arsenal is like a good idea for a
Yeah.
healthy
Yeah.
way.
I do. Teching is very good.
Right, yeah. And so like this situation, like you kind of went low, and it did avoid the dare, but then you died, but I mean that's not really like the biggest thing because that's still like going low to get on stage is very possible. But yeah, like it might have been like that was a situation where yeah, like you would have wanted to just like get a tech on him. Um, but yeah, so he did a good job, kind of just like boxing you out here. He played very well, obviously. And his edge guards are pretty good. Um, but there's a lot of like very minute stuff that, and very like some of the situations you're in are like very telegraphed. So like that situation where Claren like upbeat and got on top and like was landing is a very common situation for like most players to deal with. And most of the times you like in with most characters like Zetter up being up top, Claren up being up top, certain characters having no resources and having to like just get high and then land, you'd want to just make sure that all you're doing is like I'm not going to let you touch the ground and I'm going to make you like get off stage again and that's all. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you like you'd want like cuz that would be in its sense like you'd be doing your job of like your job is just to keep them like not having resources and then you get to take advantage of that as much as you like. So it like it limits the options your opponent has greatly and like expands the options you have like immensely. It makes it like way easier for you to work with. Um so yeah, that would be like a very important concept, and it's something that you should like probably like kind of like think about over and over. Is like my goal is not to like send them off stage. And that's what happens when you have like a lot of these like instinctual smashes. Is like send them off stage because it's an edge guard, you know, instead
Yeah.
of like let me set up a kill. Let me, and this is like something where like you edge guard and you try to like kill them with up air, you know. Like that's a
Hmm.
very like unintuitive thing, but if you're forcing DI in, up air chains are like the easiest thing, you know. And
Yeah.
so you actually could have, if you was at a higher percent, you could have tried to force him to DI in and up air chain him to kill him. Like if you knew that he had no resources, you'd be in a situation where again, if he DIs in, he dies. If he DIs out, he's like flying away from your up air, and then he's going to like have to like recover without resources, you know. So
Yeah.
it's like a very important thing of like how to keep track of like DI and like it's very simple principles, and then also how to like try and punish that and force DI out in that situation. But yeah, um, yeah, I think that's a pretty. I think we've done about like an hour. Pretty sure
Yeah.
we've been talking for about an hour 10. So I think that's a good stopping point. Once again, did one game of each, and that was it. Um, I kind of expected two games, and that was all. So yeah. Any I don't know any final thoughts. I'll stop the recording in a second. But any like final thoughts or anything?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah. It's for probably to just like kind of give like big recaps. I would give for the game. Is like the neutral stuff with like how what to think about corners and getting out of corners to try and like kind of like get out of like the top and the side to feel more
Mhm.
comfortable with that, and to kind of like not let yourself get locked into the corner constantly. That would be like a big thing, especially with Claren, and then kind of knowing your spacings based on like the position of like the Claren is really valuable. Um, Mashing harder, that's going to be a big one too, and that's going to be the big one that's going to like you're going to need to like focus on because it's going to hold you back like constantly is like be trying not to react as much and trying to go for some reads and kind of melding the
Yeah.
two. Like basically just trying to be like faster with some inputs and stuff. Like it would be a good idea to just go for like way more like reads, and then even if you miss them, you at least like notice situations where you're missing them. So instead of like you waiting too long and missing, you're not missing because you made like the wrong read, which is kind of what you want more is, or not the wrong read, but like either the wrong read or a poor reaction, or you covered the wrong thing, you know? Because at
Yeah.
least you're getting used to the idea of like, oh, it's not that I need to like. You're getting used to the idea of like either it's not like when should I wait versus when should I not, but it's like when should I go for this option versus that, and then you can start going for things like when should I wait versus when should I not as you like feel more comfortable with situations where you want to just go for the combo you expect. Because playing more patient like that will mean that you're struggling to like buffer your combos more essentially and go for combos that are a bit more bread and butter, but you still need to like not react for some of those too, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be like a big thing. And then like watching out how you're using shine, definitely a big thing. Probably like limiting shine a bit more because I think more often it's
Yeah.
been hurting your
Yeah, I didn't
game.
even realize like how habitually I was doing it before
Yeah,
looking at this. I'll
right.
definitely
Like that would be
definitely work
something
on that.
like these are stuff that you can kind of focus on separately. But some of the easy stuff to focus on, and probably like some of the big ones, is like focusing on like some of the edge guarding principles to keep them in mind, and then like for one like for a few games like trying to cut shine out of your game entirely, and like just um at the end like all you're doing is like I don't want to shine in these situations like in combo game or otherwise, and so it'll like force you to just think about other options. And this is what I constantly tell most people when they have like a crutch. I just tell them to like cut it out of their game like entirely, and it's the only way that'll get you to, because instead of just saying you should shine less, like that's very hard to quantify in your head,
Hmm.
and it's very hard to like, practice like shining less because it's like natural for you to do it. But when you take that, when you say like I'm not going to shine at all, like suddenly that like
Yeah.
every shine is bad instead of try, because now you're not trying to sift through which shines are good and bad. You're just
Yeah.
not trying to shine, then you can start to experience what you can do without it. It just helps a lot more. So like if you like a lot of stuff like that, like even with fireballs, if you think you're like you're messing with fireballs too much, cut it out. Like don't like actively don't fireball at all ever, and like that will be the only way that you'll start to like cut out some of the fireball habits as well. So I would suggest like going through like some of these like systematically, like, some habits like shine and fireball when you can, and like
Yeah.
spend like 15 games and don't do it, and just like practice it for a while, and it'll like build into your muscle memory. But yeah, otherwise like you're definitely improving. Like I can tell that there's a lot you're doing that's very good. You're a lot more aware of a lot of things. Um, and so there's definitely improvements, and there's definitely like places that like you're doing well in, and like yeah, things that I've seen that are definitely like big improvements from like before. But these are just kind of like the big ways to work on it too. And you can know because you can notice like guard didn't do anything crazy to you in this game. Like
Yeah.
he was just kind
He,
of escaping more, and you were kind of dropping stuff, but he didn't hit you with like god combo anywhere. Like he just kind of like he just played better than you in like neutral interactions more in certain situations, and he
yeah.
kept you out. And so this wasn't like a this. I mean, it was a kind of a stomp, but it was a stomp, but not like in like a
It was just that he was consistently getting a little
right.
more everywhere,
Exactly,
and it adds up.
exactly. And like all the little things add up so much. Where like that situation where like guard where like you down smash instead of edge guarding you without resources, like that
Yeah,
was the
that
difference
that
between
should
him
have been
like
a stock.
getting back and killing you, and you having a stock and now being like at 40% one stock each. So
Yeah.
things like that, like they're so small, but they make like they're like what win like they're the one things that like win tournaments. So yeah, but yeah, that would be kind of how I'd wrap that up. I don't know when I'll upload this to YouTube or whatever. I should probably do that at some point. So if people are watching, I don't know. Thank you. Do some outro. Hopefully it's
Don't
valid.
forget to
Hopefully.
like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter.
Yeah,
Don't follow Audie on Twitter.
don't forget to hit that bell notification so you can know when I
That's
upload once
right.
in a year.
That's right.
But yeah, hopefully this is helpful to you. Hopefully it's helpful to anyone who decides to watch this at some point or another. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna stop this here.